Okay, today we are going to walk through the process of boiling enough water to fill a 5-gallon jug that usually lasts us 3-4 days. We have our rocket stove here that's going to cook it. Let me grab our 1-gallon stainless steel pot. I prefer aluminum or titanium because it conducts the heat faster. The stainless steel takes a while to heat up and get the water to boiling, but that's all we've got for right now. I'll be looking for a titanium or aluminum one, a 1-gallon pot here in the near future. We've got our 4-gallon tub that we're going to go down to the river and get the initial water. We have our split firewood. It will probably take a little bit more firewood than this to do 5 gallons of water, but it's a start. So what I'll do is I'll walk you down here to the river and show you where I get the water and how I get it, and then we'll start going through the process. Let's go get some water. Okay, here we are down at the river. We have a rope tied to the pail of our bucket, and we are going to, I'll show you a little technique. If you just throw the bucket out there, you're liable to get a bunch of crud in it. So you got to be careful not to get a bunch of crap in your water. Okay, so it helps a lot once you throw it out there to start pulling it to you, which will initiate the water going into the pail and it will start filling up. Lots of times if you just throw it out there, the bucket will just sit there and it won't fill up with water, so you got to pull it to you to get it to start filling. But we got pretty clean water right out of the river. As you can see, the river's pretty clean. And it's time to start a fire. So we'll get this off of there. The first thing that I want to put in the rocket stove is twigs. So these are smaller around than your little finger. They catch fire really quickly. So those go in first. What you're building is a sideways fire, a fire that's going to start here and burn this way. So a normal fire, you put your twigs on the bottom, then you put your finger-sized sticks, then you put your split wood on top of that. Well, we're just turning that sideways. Okay? So here goes the twigs first. On top of the twigs are our finger-sized sticks. Okay? Lay those in carefully not to knock the twigs down. Okay, now we need we need a way to start the fire. So other than my handy cotton ball soaked in or covered in Vaseline, and I'll show you how to prepare that here in just a second, we need something for this to easily catch on fire to start everything else on fire. So my pocket knife is my general purpose around the camp tool for cutting, general cutting purposes. What we're going to do is take real small shavings off of this dry wood right here, and we'll just make them in a little pile. Always cutting away from you, right? Safety first. Okay, put the knife away, and now this stick that you've got left can just go right on top of everything, because it'll burn too. Now what we want to do is gather up all those little shavings that we just made and pile them up. I keep forgetting to tell y'all, it's the middle of February, it's about 45 degrees out. 10 o'clock in the morning. It's supposed to get up low 50s today. So we're dressed a little bit warm, and it's a little windy out. So it kind of makes it a little colder. Try and pull out any of these wet leaves. They're not going to help you any. Little pile of shavings that we made, and those will go in to the breather side of the stove right here. Just pile those in there like that. Can you see that? So you can see how everything is stacked in front, and we basically got our little fire pyramid built. So our main ignition source, the cotton ball with Vaseline. There are very few things on earth that catch fire as easily and work as consistently as cotton ball and Vaseline. The trick to this is to get it kind of tore apart and just rub your fingers all over it to spread the Vaseline throughout all the fibers of the cotton. You don't want any big clumps of Vaseline. You don't want the cotton really soaked hard, where it's just real thick Vaseline. It's just a real thin layer of Vaseline all over this cotton. You want it kind of spread apart. Okay? Next, the cotton ball is going to go right up here underneath the shavings that we made. Simple lighter. It started. Now we're going to point this rocket stove into the wind. To get it going. Shut the lid so it draws this way and comes out the top right here. And sometimes you got to help it really get started. Okay, I think she's going. As you can tell by the smoke. Now, another thing is we want to make sure that this is on a really stable ground, because we're going to be putting a little bit of weight. A gallon of water weighs about 8 pounds, remember that. So it'll take probably 30 minutes or so at least to get this gallon of water to boiling, and I'll get back with you as soon as I'm ready to take it off. Stay tuned. We're back. So the water just started boiling. We're going to let it boil for 5 minutes now in order to purify it. While we're waiting, I want to do a little bit of review on this pot right here. So I looked everywhere for a 1 gallon pot that had a bail and handle and lid on it. And it's hard to believe how difficult it is to find that if you don't know exactly where to look. But I came across Dave Canterbury's Pathfinder store, and he had this 120 ounce stainless steel bucket pot with a lid, a bail, and handle, and a pour spout. All things that I like and I wanted in my bigger pot. I've used this pot quite a bit for cooking beans and for boiling water. And every time I boil water with it, I just go, man, why do I not have an aluminum pot or a titanium pot? Because this has it took a good 45 minutes with just a steady fire underneath it to start boiling the water. And that's just too long. That means for me to do 5 gallons, it'll take 6 of these, because you can't fill it all the way to the top. It'll take 6 of these. That means that's 6 hours of my day to boil 5 gallons of water. It's a 3/4 of your day chore. And I want to be able to shorten that down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see, I've got a 1.6 liter pot, 1600 milliliter pot, titanium. And I'm going to see how many of those it takes to fill that pot up. And then we're going to see how long it takes to boil one of these. We still got a couple minutes here for this water to boil. I want a pot. If anybody knows where to find them, let me know. But I want a pot. I love the pour spout. For directing the water out of your pot, it works really well. Having a lid, things cook faster with a lid. Having this bail, it is easy to carry around once it's full. And then having these handles here to be able to tip it up, hold it by the bail and tip it up. I'll show you when we pour it into our 5 gallon container how handy it is to have the bail, the handles, and the pour spout when we're doing this. So, and I love this pot for cooking beans. Once you get the water boiling, the beans boiling, then it doesn't take very much of a fire to keep it boiling or simmering. So I would keep this pot for just general camping purposes, for cooking beans, stuff like that in it. But I definitely want to find an aluminum or a titanium 1 gallon pot with a bail, handle, lid, and a pour spout. It'll be worth the money no matter what, in saving time boiling water especially. We got 1 more minute for our water to boil, and then we're going to pour it into this container. What I've got in my container here, I'm pretty sure you can see that. Let me make sure you can see it. Yeah, you can see it. So what I've got over the whole of my container is a 100% cotton dish towel, and I've doubled it up, and we're going to strain the water from the river that I just boiled through that into the container. Okay, so we've been boiling for 5 minutes now, and we will take the lid off. As you can see, as soon as you take it off the fire, it stops boiling. And I would not recommend pouring boiling hot water into a plastic container. But I've already got about a half a gallon or so of cold water in this container. So as I'm pouring this water in, it'll cool it down and it won't melt the plastic or deform the plastic. And all we're doing, pouring it through this cloth, is just filtering out the larger particles. Okay, voila. It took 45 minutes to boil that water in that pot. Let's see how fast we can boil 3 of these. And if we can boil 3 of these faster than in 45 minutes, proof's in the pudding, right? So we're back, and the water has started to boil in my little 1.6 liter titanium pot, and it took exactly 15 minutes. So we're not really saving any time boiling water in this smaller pot than we are in the bigger pot. So the real test is going to be when I get a 1 gallon titanium or aluminum pot. How long will it take to boil a gallon of water in that versus the stainless steel? I'm going to be spending the next 4 or 5 hours or so filling this 5-gallon container of water, and we will have another venture for you probably tomorrow if it's not raining yet. Or maybe this afternoon, if I can get this done with a little daylight left, we'll go on a trip and go gather some more wood. Alright? Stay tuned. Thanks for being with me.